Salem Town. The year is 1692. Located in the province of Massachusetts, the final frontier of Satan's dominion on earth. Here, the church is one with the state. In such a theocratic society, religion is unavoidable. In this town, the status of an individual's soul is a matter of public concern. In this town, all things, animate and inanimate, either belong to God or to Satan. The year is 1953. Senator McCarthy sets up the McCarthy Act, a political action fed by the making of accusations of disloyalty, subversion, or treason without any regard for evidence, aimed to eradicate any communist sympathy in the United States. Those accused were arrested and questioned. If they passed on the blame and accused others, they could go free. But if they did not comply, they risked imprisonment, losing their jobs, and becoming social outcasts. The parallels between the Salem witch hunts in 1692 and the Red Scare of the 1950s is clearly laid out by Arthur. What began as a simple lie to avoid punishment turned into a mass hysteria and resulted in the hanging of several of these so-called witches and even 2 dogs. This unique situation provided an opportunity for certain individuals to act on personal vendettas and to create for themselves scapegoats. The bodies of those executed were buried in shallow graves or not at all. As in the Red Scare, those who confessed to witchcraft and passed on the blame were spared from the gallows. Today, we look back and wonder if the Salem community ever realized that they had become as dark as the force that they had tried to purge. Reverend Parris, a man in his mid-40s, there is very little good that can be said of him. In history, he cut a villainous path. Easily insulted and insecure of his post, he believed that he was being persecuted wherever he went. This is the pastor of Salem Town. John Proctor, a farmer in his mid-30s. He is a man powerful of body and even tempered. But he is a sinner, not only against the moral fashion of his time, but also against his own vision of good conduct, and thus he has come to regard himself as a kind of fraud. Abigail Williams, the niece of Reverend Parris, a strikingly beautiful girl, an orphan with an endless capacity for dissembling. Her fraudulent actions spark a wave of fear and hysteria in Salem Town. Reverend John Hale, nearing 40, he is an eager-eyed intellectual and a proud specialist in all defense against what he believes to be the dark world. Elizabeth Proctor, the wife of John Proctor and the mother of his 2 sons. A woman of integrity, she wishes only to protect her family and the husband she loves. Giles Corey, in his early 80s, a most comical hero in history. He never cared for public opinion. He was a crank and a nuisance, but a deeply innocent and brave man. Thomas Putnam, a proud and rich man who believes he has suffered many grievances. He is responsible for many of the accusations during the witch hunt. Rebecca Nurse, an old woman of great respect in the town and great faith in God. Tituba, the African slave of Reverend Parris from Barbados. And now, Standard 13 presents The Crucible.